Hello guys, I hope you're doing fine. Today in this YouTube channel I'm going to discuss about Atmanirbhar Self-Reliant campaign. On May 12, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had announced an economic stimulus package of rupees 20 lakh crore to revive the economy. This economic stimulus package is considered to be the 10% of GDP. The details of this economic package has been described by our Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman in a 5 press conferences that was held yesterday. But I will only be strictly talking about Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman's 5th press conference that was held yesterday. I am going to give out certain analysis and insights about what the minister told in yesterday's press conference. So let's start the video.
We move to the first of the 7. The budget estimate for Manrega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, was 61,000 crores. We know, and I yesterday referred to it, even day before we spoke about it, a lot of workers are going back to their villages, and we've made provision so that they can also join in if they want to enroll in Manrega.
Before the press conference began, Nirmala Sitharaman started a speech by quoting Prime Minister. She said, "We stand at a very crucial juncture. Such a big disaster is a signal for India. It has brought a message and also an opportunity. This crisis and opportunity has been used in a single line. Thus, we need to frame an Atmanirbhar India." In the rupees 20 lakh crore package, she also discussed about self-reliant India, land, labour and liquidity. As the migrants are most badly affected in this lockdown, PM earlier talked about the motto "Jaan hai to Jahan hai," which changed into "Jaan bhi Jahan bhi," that speaks about the importance of saving lives. She also spoke about PM Garib Kalyan Yojana. Under this Yojana, technology has played a crucial role in transferring money to the account of the poor and vulnerable by direct benefit transfer. She mentioned that 2.20 crore building and construction workers have received financial worth of rupees 3,950 crore. Finance Minister also appreciated the efforts of FCI and NAFED and the states for distributing pulses and grains in huge quantities. PM Garib Kalyan Yojana of rupees 1.7 lakh crore was announced. 5 kg of rice and wheat per person each month for free for 80 crore poor people was also announced. Earlier, it was also announced 1 kg of pulses per household. Finance Minister also mentioned that rupees 20 lakh crore Jan Dhan account holding women have received rupees 10,025 crores in their accounts so far. 2.2 crore building and construction workers have received rupees 3,950 crores. 6.81 crore people got free LPG cylinders. Now, in yesterday's press conference, Finance Minister has talked about 7 important key points, that is Manrega, health and education, business and COVID, decriminalization of the Companies Act, ease of doing business, public sector enterprise and policies, and state and resource related to states. Let us look at the main points. I have elaborated some of the points so that it looks simple while understanding what goes behind the economic stimulus package of Finance Minister towards the country. It means that in slow economy, companies have not been able to perform well due to slow demand. Hence, companies which have incurred losses due to coronavirus and have loans and debts will not be considered default under the IBC law temporarily. Finance Minister also said that in view of these temporary amendments, an ordinance will be passed so that no new cases of bankruptcy are filed. Now let us look at the main points. The first point is Manrega. The allocation of the estimate budget in Manrega was rupees 61,000 crore. An additional rupees 40,000 crore will be added to the estimate budget. This will address the need to work for the migrants. This will also create employment. The second point is health and education. Frontline workers to get insurance cover of rupees 50 lakh per head. These frontline workers will include doctors, ASHA workers and sanitization workers. The government has emphasized on need of online education. PM E-Vidya program for students to access education digitally. Under PM E-Vidya program, 12 channels will be launched. These channels will be showcase interactive sessions through Skype, telecasted through DTH or other players like Tata Sky. 200 textbooks have also been added to ePathshala. One earmarked TV channel for class 1 to 12 will also be launched. For the visually and hearing challenged students, radio, community radio, podcast and special e-content will be extensively showcased. By May 30, top 100 universities have been permitted to start online courses. She has also mentioned about Swam Prabha, which is HRD Ministry's free-to-air education channels. Extensive use of radio, podcasts and community radio will be made available to students who are visually and hearing impaired, and also in view of this pandemic, for good mental and emotional well-being for the students, teachers and families, Manodarpan will be launched. Finance Minister said PM E-Vidya would consist of Diksha, which will include online study content and QR coded textbooks. This initiative of Diksha is to encourage one nation, one digital platform. So let us come to the third point, which is under business and COVID. Certain amendments have also been made to Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. Any company which has incurred debts due to COVID-19 will not be listed under the default category. To relieve the MSME sector, there will be no fresh insolvency case to be initiated for 1 year. The government has also increased the threshold of filing bankruptcy and insolvency for applications from 1 lakh to 1 crore. Let us come to the fourth point, that is under state and resources. The gross domestic product of the state, which is the total value of goods and services produced during any financial year within the geographical boundaries of a state, is called the gross domestic product of the state. In a major relief to the states, the centre has increased the state's borrowing limit from 3% to 5%. But this additional borrowing comes with conditions. State borrowing capacity has been limited due to Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act 2003. But Finance Minister has announced that the increase of borrowing limit is temporary in view of this pandemic. Now let us come to the fifth point, that is decriminalization of the Companies Act 2013. This act will facilitate ease of doing business in India. Compoundable offences are those offences which are not grave offences but can be compromised if the complainant wish to agree with the accused. But under this, 7 compoundable offences will be dropped and decriminalized, such as violations involving minor technical and procedural defaults, which includes shortcomings in CSR reporting, inadequacies in board report, filing defaults and delay in holding of annual general meetings. But majority of offences will be shifted to internal adjudication mechanism. This will delog the National Company Law Tribunal, NCLT. Finance Minister also said 58 sections will be dealt under IAM as compared to 18 earlier. Now let us come to the sixth point, which is private sector enterprise policy. In this move, government aims to allow private entities to participate in all sectors. This will minimize the role of public sector undertaking in strategic sectors. Now, what is strategic sectors? Strategic sectors are those sectors which consist of the main economy, national security or public safety. Examples are healthcare, defense, education, transport, etc. Hence, it will allow private sector to play in the strategic sectors. In a strategic sector, there will not be more than 4 PSUs. In strategic sector, at least one public sector enterprise has to be there. In other non-strategic sectors, PSUs will be privatized. Private sector enterprise policy is yet to be formulated. Now let us discuss from my perspective how much this package will be useful to the whole economy. In this section, I will let you know my viewpoints regarding this campaign. These viewpoints are strictly personal. Atmanirbhar is a Hindi word which in English means self-reliant. It primarily encourages the citizens of India to be self-reliant. By self-reliant, India needs to focus more on themselves rather than to be reliant on somebody else. Now, in this section, I'll let you know my viewpoints. Let's discuss and find out how this package will impact the whole economy. In this section, I will also let you know my viewpoints regarding this campaign. The viewpoints presented here are strictly personal. Atmanirbhar is a Hindi word which in English means self-reliant. It primarily encourages the citizens of India to be self-reliant. By self-reliant, India needs to focus more on themselves than to be reliant on somebody else. Now, according to data in COVID-19 Economic Stimulus Index, India stands at 5th largest among G20 countries to spend such an enormous amount of economic package to revive the economy. The first is Japan, that is, Japan is spending 21.1% of GDP. The second country is USA. USA is spending 13.3% of GDP. The third country is Australia. Australia is spending 10.8% of GDP. The fourth country is Germany. Germany is spending 10.7% of GDP. And the fifth country is India, which is spending 10% of GDP. From my point of view, the reforms she announced are structural reforms that will be very useful for the long-term profit. Structural reforms are those reforms that drive growth to the economy. The drivers of the growth are mainly by encouraging investments to increase job creation. The ultimate goal of any reform is higher productivity. Second point is that the pandemic situation describes very clearly the importance of state in matters of state. It is very important in situations like this, cooperation between state and center persists. This pandemic will give us insights that to run a country smoothly, states should be allowed to exercise full authority. From my point of view, this package is very useful for the long term, but in short term, it will not create any demand. A sudden shock cash response must be invoked to increase the demand. There is not any fiscal stimulus package to increase demand. Demand can only be created when the spending is more. As I wholeheartedly appreciate the long-term benefits that this economic package would yield in my eyes, but the recent cash crunch in the economy needs to be attained. With migrants going back home in huge distress, if they never come back, there could be a huge possibility of lack of manual labor, which might arise the questions of how industries and many sectors would start working without them. The ease of doing business has been greatly expanded through this package. It has encouraged the local brands to increase their business. As states are mostly dependent on center, it is very important for states to have revenue collection streams at their own disposal, as the states are the ones who are handling the crisis on the front line. Lastly, I would say that the initiative of public sector enterprise policy is a great initiative, but the government should make a fair competition between existing players and new players to avoid monopoly. Fair and healthy competition should be maintained by avoiding behavior of the monopoly of the industries. I thank everyone for watching this video. Do tell me in the comment section about what do you feel about the economic stimulus package, and I would like to say that I have partially covered I have only covered the 5th press conference that was held yesterday. I haven't covered the whole press conferences by Nirmala Sitharaman, our finance minister. So do tell me if you like this video. Please share, comment, like and subscribe. Thank you so much.